Mr. Bishop. And then we'll go. Mr. Porter.
I just have one very, very quick comment. Well, actually two. And once again, there's the difference between wilderness and other designations, which is, I think, what Mr. Reberg was talking about. But Ms. Maloney, I do want to say one thing to you. There was an implication that was made earlier today that New York City is ugly. And it's not as pretty as our pristine areas. I want you to know, I personally think New York City is a beautiful city. I have family there. I am very proud of that city. I don't think it needs to be replicated because it's one of the originals. And unfortunately, the Yankees lost last night, which was very difficult for me to watch on television.
Well, thank you for your statement, and I certainly would like to work with you to allow weeds and invasive species, whether it's longhorn beetle or whatever, to be fought and controlled. I would think the federal land management would be there in 2 seconds trying to fight invasive species and fires.
Thank you.
Only if you could insist that Robinson Cano gets one more at-bat with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to place letters of support into the record. Thank you.
Yeah, just let me quote from the Wilderness Act, if I may, Section 4D1. In addition, such measures may be taken as may be necessary in the control of fire, insects, and diseases, subject to such conditions as the Secretary deems desirable. If there is the need for us to augment that or look at that, but I don't know. Ms. Shea Porter.
I just wanted to say one last thing, that I do represent federal land as well, and I heard what the congressman said, that it's rural versus urban, but in New Hampshire, my district is urban and rural, and we managed to work these things out in a pretty much nonpartisan manner, and I think that we could go a long way if we could hear one another on these issues. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The issue of noxious weeds came up, and I just want to relate a story that happened in a district that part of my district is no longer my district. It's in Kathy McMorris's Rogers district, by the way. It's good timing. And there was an issue there of a local agency, a weed control board, trying to control noxious weed. And the noxious weeds came from federal land. Now, this wasn't wilderness area. This was multiple purpose national forest. And this noxious weed was taken over private lands, and apparently the Forest Service wasn't doing enough. Because their approach to dealing with this noxious weed was to literally go up there one at a time and spray each weed. Now, I have to tell you, that is not a cost-effective way to do it, nor it is a comprehensive way to take care of noxious weeds. Now, if you leave it to the Secretary in order to deal with problems like this that come up, that's what you're going to get. The intention, of course, was to get rid of noxious weeds. And I went up there and I saw it. It was absolutely incredible to me. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for your forbearance on that. I just wanted to point out that sometimes these things sound good, but they're not good in practice, and you don't realize that until you live in those areas and see a number of these stories come back at you to make the point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any follow-up questions? I hope not, but if you do, let me know now. Thank you very much, colleagues. Appreciate it, and invite the next panel up.